welcome to another and last edition of the Captain's Blog for 2016. You join me here on Broad Ambition as we're crossing across Barton Broad. Is that a wrong thing there, crossing across? I think it was. But not to worry, anything goes. This is the Captain's Blog after all. And it's the 23rd of December 2016, which means it's Christmas time. And Sheila and I are up on the boat over the Christmas period, and we'll be spending Christmas Day in Horning. Last night we went to Neatishead. We came up yesterday and we took a silk cruise just at the dying parts of the day, just as it was getting dark, up Limekiln Dyke to Neatishead, and then we walked to the White Horse pub. And it was very busy, you know, people having their Christmas parties and celebrations. So initially they said we couldn't eat there. In the end we had some chips, I had some chips, she had some sweet potato fries. And lovely place, lovely atmosphere, good drink, great pub. The food we felt might be a little bit pompous, not just your sort of average pub grub. The sweet potato fries they were trying to be sweet and salty and wasn't as good as they could have been, and my chips were trying too hard to be potatoes with their skins on. They were neither sort of skin on potatoes or not. They were kind of, I don't know, sort of oily, lot of skin with a bit of potato, like you tried to deep fry potato wedges, kind of. Isn't that what you do, potato wedges? Anyway, some nice good old-fashioned golden fries would have done me. But haven't had anything else. We saw quite a lot of the food being taken out to various groups, and it seemed quite small portions, sort of like restaurant up there quality stuff in a pub in Norfolk. That's the best way I could describe it. So I don't know if any people have actually eaten there even. New words coming out today, and what their opinions of the place would be. But I think for myself and Sheila, we go there for a drink and a sit down and a chat and a good time rather than to eat. So of course you don't want to just be hearing me and looking at my face. There's a lot of you out there that like to come on the Norfolk Broads, and a great number of you hire boats on the Norfolk Broads, which you can't do at this time of year. Well, you can-ish. Norfolk Broads Direct, they hire through Christmas, and I think Herbert Woods have a few of their boats available. I'm not too sure on that. But generally speaking, this is when the season comes to a close and the boatyards are working their asses off, taking boats out of the water, cleaning them through, repairing them, checking under the water, anti-fouling, you name it, all goes on. And they have to have them all ready for season start next year. Now, somewhere like Richardson's, their huge fleet of boats, if you imagine, every single one of those boats will be taken out of the water, go through the shed, be polished or painted, you know, dealt with. None of them just get left. And that's an awful lot of work for the engineering team there to do, so that when you come on holiday in sort of the end of March, early April, everything is spick and span and ready to go. What it means is you don't get much traffic on the water. Now, I've been up here at similar times of the year. Last year we were up for New Year's Eve and we spent that at the New Inn, and it really is a different atmosphere, not only because there's no leaves on the trees, but because the wildlife, the swans, the ducks, it's a bit like they've gone, oh well, that's it for another year, Harry. And then they kind of get on with being wild animals without people feeding them all the time and being around and the noise and so on and so forth. So when you then come along in the boat, you kind of get to see more of them doing what they do and just hanging out, and they're a bit surprised to see you. Blimey, Harry, there's a boat. Now, we're not quite sure why Harry always comes up, but Harry gets around. We're just coming up to Irstead. This is a section of river that is very narrow. They've got that new sign there, as you can see. And I see that the ranger's out. He's launch isn't in the hut, so they don't just pack up when the season stops. It's also a time of year when you'll see a lot of trimming of trees and reeds and generally tidying up the place. So I'm not sure how much actual sort of vlog we're going to be doing, because this is Christmas. It's a holiday for Sheila and I. So, but I'll try and take you along and keep you updated. The weather is currently grey. I did expect it to be a hell of a lot worse than it has been, because a couple of weeks before we came away there was a real cold spell, and I thought, oh my god, you know, it doesn't take much to have sort of area, not so much here, but Womat Water, for example, Malthouse Broad, the upper reaches of the Ant as you go up towards Sutton, narrower, sheltered, shallower areas. If you have, say, 3 nights of below zero temperatures, you know, -1, -3, -2, and then in the daytime it doesn't get up much more above 1 or 2 degrees, then the river will just stay frozen, and then that completely curtails your progress. And that happened before, not last year but the year before, and we just couldn't get the boat back to the wet shed, and fortunately we managed to moor at Barton Turf, I believe it was, if memory serves, and I went home on the train because I had to get back to work and stuff, and Charlie Griffin stayed on the boat, and I believe a friend of ours also assisted, and when the water got back to being liquid again we could put the boat away. But it's that kind of risk that you take if you boat all seasons. Most private boaters, of course, don't boat all season. They will winterize their boat, lock it up and say good night and come back next season. The benefits of this time of year are thirsty, just for the taking, with electricity point there and the beautiful church that's just over there. And this is a good time to point out the festivities going on board at the present time. You see we've brought our presents with us, a little tree that we dress, we've got some tinsel, there's going to be some lights going up when I get around to it outside, some decorations to put outside as well, so we're really into the festive feel of things. So that's almost 8 minutes now of me talking, so I think that's probably enough for now. Our destination today will be Potter Heigham and Latham's, where we actually need a couple of bits. From there we may stay or we may head off somewhere else. The only slight issue that we might have, back to weather again, is Storm Barbara has been hitting the western parts of the country, especially up in the Scottish areas, and the tail of that sort of weather front coming across the Atlantic's kind of heading across the country towards us in the east, so there will be some wind and maybe some rain, and because windy conditions when you're on the water are not always the best, especially when you've got to think about mooring up and so on. But we'll just see how it goes. As ever, more as it happens, but from the very peaceful, sleepy River Ant, this is December on the Norfolk Broads.
So I'll fight sleep with ammonia, and every morning we fight so red. I miss them for the tears they shed, but I'm actually good, can't help it if we're tilted. I am actually good, can't help it if we actually good. Can't help it if we're tilted. I miss brothels and mended souls. Trample over beauty while singing their thoughts. I match them with my euphoria. When they said je suis plus folle que toi, but I'm actually good. Can't help it if we're tilted. I am actually good. Can't help it if we. I am actually good. Can't help it if we're tilted. I am actually good. Can't help it if we're tilted.
Noé la manne, on est de sortie. Pire qu'une simple moitié, on compte à demi-demi. Pile sur un des bas-côtés comme des origamis. Le bras tendu pareil cassé, tout n'est qu'épié et plié. Ces enfants bizarres, crachés dehors comme par hasard, cachant l'effort dans le griffoir. Et une creepy song en étendard qui fait
I'm doing my face with a magic marker. I'm in my right place. Don't be a downer. I'm doing my face with a magic marker. I'm in my right place. Don't be a downer. I am actually good. Can't help it if we're tilted. I am actually good. Can't help it if we. I am actually good. Can't help it if we're tilted. I'm good. Actually good. Can't help it if we're tilted. I am actually good. Can't help it if we. I am actually good. I'm good. Actually good. Can't help it if we're tilted. I am actually good. Can't help it if we're tilted.
So a little update for you, and I must apologise for the general state of me today, wearing a purple jumper and a grey fleece. Hair's not the best, but just like to apologise because I do sometimes get the odd message from people saying, you know, about my wardrobe, general looks. But I do have my assistant with me today to make sure that, you know, after I've blown my nose there isn't a bit of tissue left on my nose, or, you know, some shaving foam left behind my ear or something, because only me can get shaving foam behind my ear. But we are on the River Ant. We are not too far from London Bridge, and we're not going to go to Potter Heigham, because if we went all the way to Potter Heigham, we go to Latham's, and then I suggested to Sheila, well, we could go to Wroxham, and we could moor outside the Hotel Wroxham. I think you have to pay an overnight mooring fee, but it's Christmas time, so whatever. But then I realised, well, how about, you know, we could do something like that on Christmas Eve, or, you know, do something different. So we're going to go to Ramworth. We're just going to go to Ramworth. We're going to moor up there. There's power, water, toilets, pub. What more could you wish for? Also, the wind's getting up. Now, I'm not sure if this shows up too much on the camera, but since we left Neatishead today, which was just getting a little bit blowy, as we've come down the River Ant, that wind's got more and more and more. So obviously we just passed a ranger who was doing some stuff at How Hill, and he said, you know, good to see you on the water and stuff, and look at the lovely weather, bit of sunshine coming through, but it's going to get really blowy later. So if we moor somewhere like Potter Heigham or Wroxham, you do have to consider what the wind's going to do with the boat. Is it going to be easy to turn? What happens when you come to leave? There's a bridge right next to you, kind of thing. You might get blown towards it. So it can be a hindrance, the wind, or it can be beneficiary. So I'm going to go to a nice exposed area and stern more in the wind, or at least attempt to do so. And we'll see how that pans out. Because I just like to be, you know, that little bit different. If I can make it difficult, I will. Yes, it's Sheila, and she's sat here, as you can see, in what I call the pilot seat, and she's instructing me if I go, you know, wrong, too close to banks, or otherwise, you know, mess around. It is rather festive in here. I did mention earlier, but you can see here we've got our little Christmas tree set up. There's more stuff to go up later, especially outside. And just looking out the corner of my eye, there is a canoe coming towards us, so I need to be a little careful in a moment's time. But behind Sheila is the JBL Extreme speaker, which is just amazing. It's extremely powerful bass. It's portable, battery operated, and waterproof. Costs an awful lot of money, but Sheila managed to get hers on a Black Friday deal, and that is some Disaronno and Jim Beam. So moving around to the front, as I say, there is a canoe, some hardy people out today battling the wind. It's not too chilly outside, but that wind chill really does add up to make it feel like it. And as I say, the wind is slowly, steadily getting worse. But judging by the direction of travel at the moment, the wind is right on our bow, and that suggests that when we get to Ranworth Staithe, it will also be coming across the Broad towards us as we enter the Broad, not across the Staithe. So now they've gone, I will give you a brief demonstration of the JBL speaker here. I've just got something rather well known queued up. Now of course you're not going to get the full experience because it's coming through the camera microphones.
There's a show that the pace arose, so strangers to you and me.
So there we go, that's the update. Sheila took over and allowed me to just give that little demonstration. So it won't be that long of a day really for us, Neatishead to Ramworth. I mean, normally when you're following me along with our travels on the boats, it's you know, upwards of sort of, well, we're going to go to Latham's, then we're going to come from there, then we're going to go to Wroxham, and then from there we're going to go to Salhouse. You know, it's like multiple locations, many hours at the wheel. But this is about relaxation, and it is Christmas time. So I'll update you in a short while, but from here again with Sheila now at the wheel, more as it happens. So here we are, Ranworth, Malthouse Broad, and two hire boats, I believe both from Faircraft Loynes. I'll just zoom in so you can see. So even on the 23rd of December, Ramworth Staithe isn't empty. We're going to go down here on that left side, or right hand side of the Staithe as we're looking at it, and we're more down there because it's just a little bit more sheltered, because the wind is going to get up. If that boat stays there, which I hope it does, then that will again help shelter us if the wind turns and you get the little waves coming in. Wind's dropped a little bit here, so anyway, that's the plan. So fenders have been deployed and we are shortly going to moor. So hi guys, just to update you, the last time you heard from us we were coming into moor on to Ramworth Staithe, and we've been here a while. There was 2 boats here when we arrived. One of them's gone, one of them's staying for the evening, and that's Fair Jubilee, luxurious boat for 2. Huge TV, lovely saloon. They're having a really nice dinner in there at the moment. Came and said hello and commented on Broad Ambition, and you know, chap seemed to know that it was already a boat from Jack Powell's before I told him so. But we are staying here. We're going to be having a meal maybe in the maltsters this evening, certainly going for a few drinks, and they've got a real fire, which is always a cosy nice pub. But the main thing is, I forgot to do again until now, but I've got it with me. I've got to catch up with some shout outs, so let me shout out. One of these goes back to well, we're almost into 2017, but in the summer, far away times when it was lovely and warm, and at Beccles Yacht Station, Jocelyn, I met you in the summer. You came on board, you had a look around, so hello. I've got round to saying hello to you in one of the blogs. I hope you're doing well. Hope you still watch the blogs. The next shout out, Ken, are you there, Ken, from West Yorkshire? I met you at the Waveney River Centre, but I can't remember where, but I'm making notes this time, so I keep up with me shout outs. And finally, Andy Allen, yes, you're the person, I believe, that probably asked, I hope there's going to be a blog coming. Well, yeah, well, there is a blog coming, and now you've had your shout out. So, I hope that covers all of the people. If I've forgotten any names or you want to be mentioned in the blog, then as these people already know, you could be waiting a while for me to get round to remembering to mention you and get your name right. Because people will come and say, oh mate, I love the blogs, you know, blah blah blah, my name's Mike Smith, mention me in the blogs. And I'm like, yeah, sure, right. Then I get back on the boat and I'm thinking, was that Edward Smithers? Mike? Yeah, so, well, anyway, so this is where we are, at Ranworth Staithe. I'll just show you what's going on. So this is the view across the Broad. It's been really nice here. Very quiet, just little ducks. And you know, some people, they come in the season and they say, well, we didn't see any coots, we haven't seen much ducks, where are the swans? They're everywhere here, they won't shut up. I've seen, you know, a bunch of swans. Right now I can see 4 coots. I've got mallard ducks on my left, and they're just everywhere. I mean, look at them all here. So they are there, but they seem to just sort of all come out of the woodwork far more out of season when it's really quiet. Surprisingly, you might think, well, you know, when there's all the boats around and titbits for them and stuff. But as I said to you earlier, they sort of just go back to doing what they do. You know, look, there's the ducks nibbling in the grass. So they're just being a sort of natural rather than just relying on sort of handouts of bits of bread and stuff. It's also been quite busy here with people coming by row, going to the pub. Spoke to a guy who came here today just for a day out from Norwich, lives in Norwich, and just thought let's come to Ramworth and go to the pub, have lunch and have a look around. So it's not just boaters, and you don't just have to enjoy this on a boat. You could have, of course, come to Norwich. There's things to do there by the river as well, but it's a really nice time to be afloat, and especially at this very quiet mooring. Those are the lights. We'll see what they look like later. I bought some ones from China, from Amazon. LED, 240 volt they were. IP66 it said. Yeah, with no ceiling whatsoever, and 2 bare wires at the end for you to daisy chain another set to. But hey, we'll just leave those bare, don't worry about it. 240 volts. So they went straight back, and I went to B&M and bought these. So a bit more expensive, but they're DC, nice and safe voltage, 24 volt. So we'll see what they look like later.